Hello, and welcome to Monster Chronicles, where we go through the monster manual chronologically and rate each monster on a tier list.
So grab your confessionals and take a seat, because today we're going over angels. Welcome back, everyone, to the wondiferous show of wonders, Monster Chronicles.
Wait, we already said our intro.
Yeah, but I wanted to be sure. Maybe they weren't listening. I know you don't listen. Yeah, you, Chad, from South Compton, Ohio. Listen.
What are you talking about? We don't have Chads on this channel, okay? This is D&D. What do you think?
We actually do have a Chad on this channel, if you recall.
We actually do have a Chad on with RoleCallrp. He's one of the founders.
Angels!
Yeah, what were we talking about? We were
Angels!
talking about angels.
We are talking about angels today. We're just going to be blasting through these things and ranking all three in one episode for your viewing pleasure. To start off with, in terms of the reputation that they have, of what I think of when I think of an angel, I think of the holiest of holy beings up above on the clouds, looking down at us, serving the gods, and doing good deeds for all of the little boys and girls down below. And for the most part, that's basically how they're described. To a fault, I think. I think that angels should be allowed to be evil. The angel is incapable of following commands to stray from the path of law and good. That doesn't mean they can't be evil, but it kind of means they can't serve an evil thing, which I think is more limiting than it needs to be. There's some evil gods out there. Why can't those gods give them commands?
Well, they have their own subjects. They have their own demons and devils and fiends and stuff to work with.
Yeah, and then, I guess suppose, because angels, they are not infallible and they can be tricked, which is how
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to trick them, but it is possible.
Yeah, and when they are tricked and they do something evil, they fall. And then, as it says in the monster manual, they retain their power but lose their connection to the deities, and they basically become loose cannons.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing for them to not be evil, because they can become evil. They can become fallen angels. So it's not like they can't. I'm just thinking, when you think of the, all the hellish beings that are in the D&D world and all the demon princes and all that kind of stuff, how many demonic, fiendish, devil creatures are in the monster manual?
Plenty.
How many angelic beings that serve good gods, how many of those are in the monster manual?
3.
There are so many evil options for demons and devils and fiends to work with, that to have a creature that is dedicated to good and is powerful. I'm I'm not mad. I'm not mad, okay? Because there's so few of them.
Yeah.
So let them have it, okay?
Yeah. Nola wants monsters to be nice and friendly and good.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of demons and evil monsters to work with, okay? I'm just advocating for the good guys. And Kai is the devil's advocate that just wants everything to be horrible and evil and awful and
death and despair.
That's what Kai wants in this world. And I am trying to stand up for the good creatures, okay? That's it.
One would call me the devil's advocate.
And that's why I'm here.
All right, Matthew Mercer. How was the first one pronounced?
Deva.
Deva. That's right.
Deva. There you go.
You heard it here, folks. And then the next one, Matthew Mercer yet again.
Planetar.
Lanatar. I assume this is going to be Solar, but...
Solar.
Oh, no.
Oh, solar.
It's Solar.
I thought it would be solar.
Yeah, no, it's Solar apparently. And that's why we do this. Thank you, Marisha Ray. Thank you so much. Solar, Planetar, and Deva. Yeah, I would have pronounced Diva, and I would have pronounced Solar.
Well, I probably wouldn't pronounce it like Deva and Planetar, but I probably would have said solar, just from the pronunciation of the planetar. But anyway, okay, so what do we think about these 3? Should we start with the Deva?
Yeah, we'll start chronologically from the weakest to the strongest. The Deva is meant to be a messenger and is meant to inhabit whatever community that they are sent to enforce or encourage a god's specific wants and needs and desires. They aren't meant to be fighters, even though
they can fight.
Yeah. Even though they aren't meant to be fighters, these things are still a challenge rating 10. Same CR as the frickin' Aboleth.
So an Aboleth would struggle fighting a Deva. Which is that says something.
That does say something.
Because this is the weakest angel in the monster manual. So
the bar to become an angel is like near top tier what humans can ever even strive to be in most cases. I think level 10 is like you're the best in the world.
You're among the best.
Yeah, and then level 15 is you're the best the world has ever seen. One thing I will say, the person that did the art on the angels, beautiful.
Nice.
I really like the artwork in terms of look. I think they nailed it. I think this is some really cool design.
I really love the bowl cut that the Deva has. That's my favorite. The emo haircut. I'm okay. When it comes to like the art, I very much am picky when it comes to art. Okay.
Fine. I won't. I know who I'm not taking to Italy or Rome if I ever get a chance to go then, because that's all that art is.
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about it because I've already been there, so.
Oh, well, aren't we special? I'm sure you were just vomiting all over Michelangelo's work.
This art is trash. This art no good.
We've got ourselves some pretty strong creatures between the Deva and the Planetar. Planetar is clearly meant for fighting. Deva is clearly meant for being the runner, the messenger.
Diplomatic, yeah.
How would you imagine a fallen Deva? Like, this is a messenger that maybe was tricked somehow. So for each of these angels, I was thinking like, there's a way for them to fall and to have their connection severed. So Deva's just a messenger. How do you fall as a messenger creature? Do you make a spelling error?
So it's implied that Devas, they're not like postmen. They don't like literally just show up, deliver mail, and then yeet out, okay? Like usually, if they have a message of some kind, they have the tendency to stay for a little bit before leaving.
So they're more like priests.
Priests? No, I mean, like a ripped, like Marvel hero looking abs with wings and like shining eyes level priest, I guess.
So like all priests.
Like all priests. Yeah. The average priest. It depends on the message, basically. Basically, that's what I think. It depends on what the Deva was told to do. If it was told that, hey, you need to go to this community in 10 years, like, I don't know, like a kid will be born that's going to save the entire country from like a great evil in like 20 years, and you have to ensure that this child makes it through childhood or whatever, it's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the child's okay.
Yeah.
And who knows whether it will require that angel to do something it doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm. So Deva's more of a diplomat than a messenger. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I say it's more of a diplomat, because it's not just like, here's mail, bye.
Yeah.
It has a job that it's meant to do. It could be a messenger angel that's literally like shows up in a flash of glory being like, hello, I'm Johnny, the great angel from the god, Billy Bob, and I'm here to deliver you a message. Get your sunglasses, to protect from my radiance. Okay, bye, and then like he disappears. You could have an angel do that, but that's kind of boring. Do you need an angel to do that? You can have something else deliver that message. Okay, you can have some random dude do that. And I think if a DM took enough time they could think of a way for a diva to fall that is in character.
I think you're right. I think out of all these, probably the Deva is the most likely to come across because they could be anyone.
Like it says in the description above, legends tell of angels that take mortal form for years, lending aid, hope, and courage to good-hearted folk. If a Deva were to stay with a group of, in a village for a long time, I think it's pretty natural for, maybe the angel to grow some kind of attachment with some of the people, to care for these people.
Oh, yeah.
And if something were to threaten them, then they would probably do something. And depending on how desperate the situation was, let's say an Aboleth, I don't know how to talk anymore. Let's say an Aboleth walked in. Well, then wouldn't the angel want to try to do something?
If an Aboleth walked in, I would be even more terrified because it would just get its little tendrils
running into town hey y'all, I'm the new Aboleth in town. What's up? By the way, you're all my slaves.
I could totally see that. Maybe what if a Deva fell in love with a human and then
Celestials, not Celestials, Azamars.
Yeah.
that would just be an easy cash in.
Yeah.
Reason why an Azamar would exist in the town.
Yeah, I can totally see a Deva. The village is threatened by a group of bandits, so the Deva just goes and slaughters these bandits, and then the god comes down and is like, you realize that these bandits were just war-torn refugees trying to watch over their own families. You're cut off from me now. And then he's fallen.
Because he, act irrationally because he had grown attached to the people. Mm-hmm. He instead of thinking maybe these people are, they're suffering themselves, he was just like, they're enemies, I need to protect my people. It's us or them. Is no, your god Billy Bob said, dude, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a great segue to the Planetar, who, unlike the Deva, when it's sent down, it's meant to mess some stuff up.
It's wartime if a Planetar shows up. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the Planetar really quick. I love the green aesthetic. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's very, it's here to mess people up. Okay. It's not here to have some Fabio looking hair and to be like, all right, let's make friends. No, we're not here to make friends. Okay. We're here to spill blood and be green.
And my favorite part about this, divine awareness, it knows if it hears a lie. I think that is just so cool to me. The idea of running an encounter with this thing and the Planetar goes down and talk to the players like, what happened here? And the players, as they do, like, we were just defending ourselves. We knocked on their door and then he ran into my knife 17 times. It was the craziest thing.
Uh-huh. And then the Planetar goes, yeah, no, though.
Yes. Yeah, and then he draws his gigantic sword and is like, smite, boom, and then you're done.
And then kills the entire party. And then all the players have to roll new characters.
Yeah, because this thing is CR16. And through most campaigns, this thing shows up, you're dead. Most campaigns don't go beyond 15. This thing shows up, you're smited. You're done. This.
Well, it depends on why it's showing up. Is it there to fight you, or is it there to fight something else and the party happens to be there?
It's true.
If the Planetar is there to smite the players, well, I think your players have done something very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a murder hobo party, a DM might be very tempted to send a Planetar to fix them. Okay, mm-hmm. To fix the situation. Okay. Mm-hmm. To insert the fear of the gods into the players because they keep killing all of your NPCs that you love and you took so much time to create. And then instead of having a nice, meaningful story, they just kill everyone they meet.
Preach it, Nola. Preach it. Let it all come out, because I'm sure there are plenty of DMs out there that can relate to.
They're just like, preach, girl, preach.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and
Speak.
I actually want to read the excerpt from the Planetar because I think it just sums them up so beautifully. Planetars act as the weapons of the gods they serve, presenting a tangible representations of their deity's might. A Planetar can call down rain to relieve a drought, or can loose an insect plague to devour crops. A Planetar's celestial ears detect every falsehood. and its radiant eyes can see through every deception. Like, that's basically them in a nutshell. Like, they show up, and the land around them becomes their plaything. They have complete control over this area, and they ain't no joke.
Basically, they are there to solve the problem by any means necessary. Okay? And they're no joke. They are the reset button.
Yeah, if the David's there for long term, like just more support, Planetar's there for the we need to get stuff done now kind of a thing. And the only thing that's even above that is the solar.
Right.
And these things, this is the step below a god. This is like one step removed from a god, literally. It is CR 21. It is basically a Solar is muscular warrior Jesus. It's Dream of the Rude Jesus.
If he wasn't a diplomat, you know, trying to like help all the people. No, Solar is like guns cocked, like let's go. Yep.
I'm thinking, these things, they could end the world by themselves, basically, theoretically. If one of these things showed up, they could basically single-handedly go across the world with enough time and just wipe out everything on their own.
Which is a good thing why they're lawful good, because that would probably not be a good thing.
Yeah. Like freaking... Let's just read out their strength to give you an idea. Strength, 26, Dex, 22, Con, 26, Intelligence, 25, Wisdom, 25, and Charisma, 30.
Like... I don't even think we even comprehend what a 30 charisma would be.
That's like bow before me and you don't have a choice.
Yeah, like looking at the description above, it says so great is a solar celestial might that even demon princes shrink at its resonant commands. So if demon princes look at Solars and they're like, oh, we don't mess with them. We don't mess with them. That's something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these things are the right hand leaders of gods. I actually wanted to talk about one thing in particular with you, Nola, because we had a recent episode of Curse of Strahd where we talked about one-shot abilities. This creature actually has a one-shot ability built in.
What?
Slaying Longbow. A ranged weapon attack, plus 13 to hit, range 150 to 600 feet. Hit, 15 damage piercing, plus 27 radiant damage. Okay, not bad. If the creature is at 100 hit points or fewer, it must succeed a DC Constitution saving throw or die.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, this thing can just kill most things with an arrow from 600 feet away.
Yes, it's not even a save or suck at that point. It's a save or die.
yeah. It's not save or suck. It's one step above that. This thing, it decides what lives and what dies. Let's compare it to the Aboleth again, because we just talked about that. Like, the Aboleth has 135 hit points. So this thing could essentially just one-shot it, because the arrow would do the damage to bring it under 100 health, and the Aboleth would just die instantly.
Yeah.
Basically.
And well, the thing is, it has multi-attack.
Yeah.
So
and then they do it again.
It just slap it with a greatsword, and then just longbow, and just poof, it just disappears out of existence. Okay, it just gets Thanos snapped. Like, these creatures are pretty impressive.
Yeah, and not to mention, its sword doesn't even need to be near it, so if this thing is fighting a player, it can just never get within range, because it's like whoever that dude from Guardians of the Galaxy with the little pen.
Yeah.
That's basically what this thing can do. Just the sword flies around and just impales everyone.
Solar, basically, he can just sit back and just be like, sword, go get him.
Yep.
And then the sword just like, whoop, and just like, it just one-shots him. It's just like, wow.
Yep,
doesn't even have to do anything and just wipe out the whole party if he wants.
Yep. And of course, very casually, the Solar spellcasting ability is Charisma with a spell save DC of 25.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Like, this thing. That being said, doesn't have very good spells.
Does it need good? I mean, how many does it need to be a fantastic spellcaster at the same time? Like, I think it's pretty OP at this point.
Yeah, no, it doesn't, because it's got legendary actions. It can teleport places, and it can basically blind people with sunlight and burn people with divine radiance just by existing. Yeah, if you don't want to run an encounter with a god, it would serve a similar purpose in terms of power.
Yeah, pretty. You know, if you have a level 20 party, this one would be a pretty decent challenge.
Yeah, because you would get one shot. Basically, no one could fall beneath 1 HP, with the exception, if you had a paladin that could bump up everyone's saving throws, like maybe this thing wouldn't be too much of a challenge. But for the most part, if this is a con save, your wizard's going down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, your wizard's getting shot by a longbow and being disintegrated.
Yeah, because this Solar intelligence 25, I think that's smart enough to realize that your spellcaster needs to be the first thing to go down. And I'm thinking 600 feet away, you're just trouncing down the street, minding your own business.
You don't even see this thing coming. And then just like...
An arrow, phew, boosh, 600 feet away, straight to the face. And you go down, and that's it.
So basically, angels are really powerful, and you don't mess with them. Even the weakest of angels are still like a pretty big challenge.
They're angels, and I think they're powerful, as angels should be. And I think in terms of angels that you can probably use in a campaign, the Deva is the one that's going to be most used.
Right. Well, obviously, because most people aren't playing level 20 campaigns.
I think I would rank Deva the highest just because the Planetar and the Solar, that's like, when they show up, the world is freaking ending. Like, I can't see them being used in a lot of circumstances just because of how strong they are. And for the Deva, you could put them in so many places, like the way that I put it earlier, is like they could just be a priest that like, and they could disguise themselves as an elven priest. It's like, oh yeah, Priest Frank, they've been here for hundreds of years, and they've always been here praising the Lord of Palor, and we follow him.
Billy Bob, I told you.
yeah, for Billy Bob. Then like near the end of the campaign, it's revealed that it's actually a Deva, and I think that that's really cool and very practical, and they could be anywhere. And I like the idea of just something that you come across that's just inherently really good and positive can be something more.
Right.
It makes the world feel a lot more magical. And I think I think the Deva's place in this magical world that is Dungeons and Dragons, I think it fits beautifully. And just because of what it adds to the world around it in such an active way, I would either put it in hype or we like you. I don't want it to go beneath that. I think that this thing is incredible. I think it's
really.
I think it's really neat. And what it adds to the world that I like is more passive than active. It's the idea that their angels are among us in this world, struggling with us and doing their best to do good. I think that just having that knowledge that someone out there, anyone that we know, could be a Deva, I think that that's just really cool, and that's where my love for these things comes from mostly.
I think another thing to add is, this monster manual has so many evil, big, baddie creatures. I think it's just nice to have creatures that are just inherently good and powerful, and that they can look like anything, really. So you said you would put in hype or we like you? Absolutely not. That's kind of low. Are you kidding me? I was thinking somewhere in legendary, like I was actually leaning towards hype or legendary for myself. We like you for what you just described. With all that praise is we like you.
The reason why I like it isn't necessarily for it being actually there. It's for the possibility of it being there, just existing. Like that's where I think its major strength comes from. So if I were to run into this thing in the game, I don't know if I would consider that like a bigger deal than just me knowing that they're out there at all.
Well, I'm trying to think. See, okay, once Devas and Angels at all become involved, it's automatically going to be like almost like a really big, this is not level 1 little kitty, like, you know, save the cat from the tree. No, like once you get into that realm, it's big, okay? And Devas are just the start. I would not accept it being lower than hype personally.
Okay, I think we can meet
because
in the middle.
Because it is hype. It is hype.
Yeah, I think we can meet in the middle. I think we can decide that Devas are comfortably in hype. Like we are excited for them. They provide desperately needed balance, and they make the world just seem more magical and bright, which is nice in contrast to a lot of monsters. So,
and they're very versatile. I personally think they're the most versatile out of all of the angels.
Deva, welcome to our first hype creature. Boom. Planetars.
Okay, so planetars are kind of interesting because they're the in-between between like the Deva and the Solar. And yeah, they're there to mess things up, and they're part of war and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of just a weaker, downgraded version of a Solar.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking the purpose that they serve is the exact same as the Solar, except
not as powerful.
Yeah, and I think the thing that makes these things more scary is that there's supposedly like I think there was only 24 Solars.
Right.
And there's countless of these.
Yeah.
So like there could be an army of these things, but that's too big in terms of like a D&D campaign.
Right.
That's one of those things where it's so powerful you can't even really understand it. It's like when someone says 1 million people have this, like you can't really comprehend how much 1 million people is. Like it's too big. So I think they're cool. I think they're neat. I like them. I'm not really excited about them. I think the way that you put it so perfectly puts what I think about it is they're just weaker Solars in terms of where they are in the game. So,
I mean, if I saw one, I would still be excited, but yeah. I think the level of excitement would kind of be the same as if I met a Deva.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would be more excited with a Deva just because the idea that, you know, like, oh, Steve, who I've known all this time, like all my life, is actually an angel. Like, I think that that's a really cool thing, whereas planetars are, when they're there,
they're there to fight.
Yeah, you know that we are here. Fear me, mortals. For I will smite you.
I prefer Devas over planetars.
Yeah, so
because you can use them for story.
I'm thinking either Dollar Store or We Like You. Like I want to put them in We Like You because I like them more than the Aarakocra.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. When we think Dollar Store, now we have to think of in terms of like the Aarakocra, because I think the Aarakocra and Dollar Store is a good position. So I would put it in We Like You because it's still you know, really cool to see one, but it's not as versatile or as cool to see as one of the other two angels.
Yeah. So Planetar. We like you. You serve a purpose, but you're a lesser version of the Solar.
You're a discount version of Solar.
Yeah, which is why I kind of wanted to put them in the Dollar Store. Is like the way I'm thinking, like you're a Dollar Store version of the Solar. Like you're the off-brand Solar, but you're better than the Aarakocra, I think. So
yeah, that's the only reason I don't put it in the Dollar Store, because it's better than an Aarakocra. Okay, it is. Now, Solar.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is one step removed from a god itself, so I'm tempted to put it up there. However, just because it's powerful doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. Thinking about our criteria, I'm looking at this thing and my storytelling brain and my DM brain, it doesn't go as crazy with excitement as it does with the Aboleth. Like, the Solar, is there. It's a presence. It is extremely powerful. But in terms of designing a game around it, it's a cataclysmic thing to add to this game. Like, this thing could end the world on its own if it wanted to. It could usurp demon princes, which is really, really cool. And
basically, this thing is a campaign ender.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's really a good thing. Just because it's powerful, just because it's ridiculously powerful, it doesn't mean that it's a great monster. I'm not saying it's a bad monster at all.
No.
I think it's a fantastic monster, but I agree that I don't think it belongs in God tier. I am personally kind of teetering between legendary hype and we like you, just because when are you going to see this monster? You have to be in a level 20 campaign. How often does that happen?
Yeah.
And even then, that's like you have to center an entire campaign around fighting this type of thing. You know,
this thing is so, I want to call it like vanilla powerful, like very bland, raw power. Mm-hmm. And that's not particularly exciting from a gameplay perspective, I think. However, if this thing were to show up, I would know that things just got real.
Things have hit the fan, yeah.
I like the Deva more, honestly. I think
I like the Deva. I agree. I like the Deva more.
Yeah, I mean, this thing may be more powerful, but the Deva is just so much more interesting.
Honestly, the one thing about the Deva that just sets it apart from the other angels is the change shape ability, and that its purpose is to be among, the mortals and live in the material plane and do goodwill. And I think that lends itself to naturally be great material for a great campaign.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You can center a campaign around a single Deva. I actually am thinking, I sort of want to put the Solar in hype, and I want to upgrade the Deva. I know, Kai. I know you're struggling. I know you're rustling in your heart with this because you just want all the big spooky skeletons to be in legendary and god tier. But like, listen, dude. Okay, you have been praising the Deva and describing all the great things about this monster, and I've been describing all the great things about the Deva. I personally think it deserves a spot in legendary, or at the very least the top of the hype tier, because you can do a lot with a Deva.
It's true.
You can't really do much with a Planetar or a Solar.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I like the Deva more than Solar. I'm just thinking,
I definitely think it deserves to be in either legendary or hype. And I think as the tier list goes along, we'll have to kind of review all of our selections and see whether we still agree with where all the positions are. If it makes you feel better, we could put it at the top of hype tier, and then if it deserves to be upgraded later, we upgrade it later. Because I really like the Deva, personally.
I really like the Deva too, and I'm struggling. I think it just comes down to a matter of preference. I honestly think
it comes down to a matter of preference. Okay, so then you get the Aboleth and I get the Deva.
I think that's fair.
Because we were criticizing the Aboleth of like, okay, so you know what? It's bigger reputation than it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not that great. Blah 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 blah. The Deva, it's not like a hyped monster. It doesn't have like a big reputation. It's just kind of lumped in with the rest of the angels.
It should definitely be more. It should be more famous than it is, I think.
Yeah, it should be more famous than it is because you can do a lot with a Deva.
But,
so put it behind the Aboleth if you must.
Okay.
But I would put it in legendary.
Okay.
And then if it deserves to be downgraded, we can downgrade it later.
All right. Solar then. You are in hype. Boom. And Deva has been upgraded to the legendary. I'm liking the way that this is looking so far.
I can't see anything, so I'll have to see the video when it comes out. But like,
what are you talking about, Nola? It's right there.
It's right there? Wait, am I turning the other?
No, you're turning the other way. Yeah.
It's right there?
It's right there. You're looking at it.
I just needed to open my eyes and see. Wow. Our tier list looks so beautiful.
Yeah, it looks so beautiful. And that's the angels. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, we went through 3 real quickly. So, yeah, I think angels are cool, and they are a force for good, and devas are really cool. I think the thing to take from this episode is that devas are cool and
Devas
underused.
are the best. They're the best out of all the angels. Not because they're the most powerful, but because they're the most useful. Mm-hmm. At least for a story DM's and player perspective.
Yeah, so yeah, stat block, all of them are basically what you would expect, with the exception of the Era insta-kill ability. I think we can close the book on this one and say, job well done.
Job well done.
We have served the gods well and labeled their servants accordingly.
Billy Bob would be proud.
Oh, Billy Bob.
Yes.
Bless this video.
With many likes and comments and subscribes.
With many likes, comments, and subscribes.
And so many people going to our Twitch channel at RoleCallrp.
So many people going to the Twitch channel at RoleCallrp.
So many people.
So many people. Praise it, Nola. Praise it.
Okay, you need to calm down.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.